It's train time, starting now, right after this small intro.
In compliance with COPA, this video is not for children under the age of 14. Viewer discretion is advised. Sponsored by Canadian Model Railroad.ca and by donations from patrons like you. Further support provided by miniprint.ca. Make your layout come alive with the 3D creation of miniprint.ca. And now on with the show with your hosts, Peter and Joe.
Well, Joe, what time is it?
I think it's train time.
It's train time. And this is episode number
16. So for the viewers, we have a fantastic show this month.
Yes.
And we will be starting with what, Peter?
The museum piece at Grand Marais.
Yes.
We've put together a slideshow for the viewers to see. We've talked about it a few times on our podcast, so we'll give them a chance to have a look.
Well, those pictures have never been released.
No.
That's the first time that the public will see those pictures of how we assembled that museum piece.
And afterwards, I think we're going to try and do a video once COVID is finished.
Yeah, and that would be nice because that was 2014 that it opened.
Yeah.
Now we're in 2021.
Yep.
So it's about time to give it a visit.
Yes.
So after that, we'll have the photo of the month, Peter.
We have photo of the month, yes.
And the view from above.
View from above.
And then we'll go visit the layout of Peter.
Malachi.
Yeah. Yeah. So enjoy the Grand Marais segment.
So, Joe, this is the Grand Marais museum piece, the making of it.
Yeah, that was titled Grand Beach, July 1925. And now we see the stations from Victoria Beach.
Yes.
Which was the sister stations of Grand Beach. But Grand Beach had perished to fire.
Yes. So we made contact with the owner of the Grand Beach, or the Victoria Beach station that is now his cottage, and that was...
No, we had contact with the chief of police of Victoria Beach, who find out where the station had been moved as a cottage, and asked the owner if we can go and take the measurement, and they were very pleased that we do that.
Yes, right. So we got all our measurements so that we could scratch build the Grand Beach station.
That's right. And plus the pictures that we had from the archives. Now, this station was kind of difficult to build in a sense that they had 4 different roof lines on it. Now that's is the plans that we had to build that diorama for the museum, which was an interactive
museum piece,
where they can do all the sounds and the animation we put on it. Now right here, exactly right beside our studio here, that's where we built the base.
This is the benchwork being built in the carpentry shop here.
That's right. And it was built with 2x6 and 3 pieces with dowels to line it up, and then it was all bolted together. The backdrop was on 3 pieces, and then you had the beach that
was an
insert that because it covered the 3 pieces. So all the measurements were taken there, and we put the foam, and we can see the like boat. Now we're doing the radius and so on.
Mm-hmm.
After that was all done, the track were put on,
Mm-hmm.
and we went after that upstairs and start doing the work on all the building.
Right.
We can see very much so the size of the beach in there.
Yeah,
because
that's
it's on
where the
lighter
insert
color.
is. This is the backside of the backdrop where the track disappeared behind the backdrop.
Right. And the train running on those track was timed.
Mm-hmm.
So that it leaves the station and it stopped at the station exactly the way it was supposed to be with the proper sounds and so on and so on.
And the siding in the front of the diorama was depicting the siding that CN used to leave sleeper cars on
Yes.
in 1925.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the 1925 and 1926 were the last 2 years that the car were used. That CN brought those cars there because in 1927 they opened the hotel.
The hotel.
So on this diorama, we got the hotel under construction,
Right.
and at the museum, the sleeping cars are on the tracks, and the passenger car are there because it was a very popular resort where all the people were going.
And this backdrop was painted by Larry Ziffel, who passed away from cancer. He was our artist in the club. He blended the backdrop with the scenery very well. It was a very nice job, especially where the beach and the lake is.
Oh yeah,
He
it
did
had
a-
a lot of depth in there.
Oh, yeah, really did a nice job, yeah.
Now we can see another member that helped us a little bit in there that passed away. That was Tom Reeve.
Tom Reeve, yeah. Yeah, there's the blending of the lake and on the backdrop with the beach.
And now we're up in the studio that the CMR have upstairs here, working on those buildings.
From the photographs that we got from the archives.
Yeah, matter of fact, I only had 4 buildings in there that were kits, somewhat modified, but
Yep.
the rest was all scratch built from the pictures.
That's right, yeah.
The pavilion, the dancing pavilion, what was during the day a roller skating ring. We took three section out of it, and the width was a little bit brought in so that it can fit on that layout.
Yeah, we
so,
were limited with space.
but the accuracy per se of the building is very much so the way it was.
This is the dance pavilion under construction.
Yeah. And it had also the, as we will see a little further, the carousel building. And the carousel inside, well, you paint all the horses and all of that, and it fit in there, and it was mobile. I don't know if it still worked because it was all gear with plastic.
Plastic gears, yeah.
The dock in there, we had pictures prior 1925, and we had pictures after 1925 because something happened to that dock. So we didn't know which one really was the right one to use for that specific year. So we took a little bit of both. Now here you see the hotel that been built, and it was under constructions on the layout, and everything was stick by stick, and it was done like they were doing in 1925 when they were building.
Yes.
Here I'm doing the inside of the
Grand Beach Station.
Grand Beach Station. The funny part is that building being started by the roof in the middle.
Yeah, that's right. You started at the roof and worked down, yeah. So many different roof lines.
It turned out to be a very beautiful piece.
Yeah, you did a marvelous job on it. There's the artist and his completed work.
Now we see the boardwalk in there.
Mm-hmm.
The boardwalk has over 1,000 coffee steer stick in there, cut in two, and then the ends cut scored and scratched and sand so that we can make the boardwalk
It
as
looked like
natural as possible.
weathered wood. Yeah.
And all the little pieces that we were seeing on the tray there, it had 1,500 pieces in there to assemble to make all the railing for that boardwalk.
The railing sports. Yeah.
That diorama, there's
the
your
carousel. Yeah. All
Yeah.
of the horses had to be painted, and well, everything had to be painted.
That specific diorama was 5 feet wide by 11.5 feet long.
Mm-hmm. And the actual boardwalk, we had to, because of that size limitation, we had to fold it back around on itself. It wasn't exactly the way the real boardwalk was, but we had to do that folding back so that we could do the
Because
space.
the beach technically was on 90 degrees with the station.
Yep.
And because they wanted the train to run around, we had to fold it on itself.
Yep.
Now that roof, you work on that, and
That's a Campbell kit bandstand. This is the bathhouse, which was scratch built.
Yep,
You built that. And these were modified kits, right?
that's right. They were not like they were supposed to be, and you got another scratch built at the end here.
Yep.
Now, all of those being scratch built, the dumpsters,
The swings.
box, the swings, and so on. And you were the master of the outhouse, in and out, because yours in there even had the toilet paper in.
Yes, I even managed to make a toilet paper roll. Yeah,
Now we were getting ready to move it to the museum. You can see the 3 pieces and which stage they were when we brought them to the museum. We just had to put the building, take out the seams, and do quite a bit of work, matter of fact.
yeah.
It
Once we got on site,
Yeah.
putting it all back together was a lot of.
It took 2.5 days to put that together at the museum
And
and
this
put
is
the electronics on and so on.
this is loading all the pieces into the U-Haul truck.
Now, by the time we did that, we had spent 800 hours on doing the buildings and the sceneries and so on, and not including all the others, all the other work that been done at the carpentry, because well, it took time. So we start on the fall of 2013. It was assembled in the first week of May of 2014.
Yep.
And the visitors at the museum start to see that diorama, I believe, in July of 2014.
Yep.
And since then, it's thousands of people who have looked at that diorama, and the comments have been incredible about it. Some people that had been at that beach, at that resort, in those years or a little after, were complimenting the fact that it was as they remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, as part of the crew that was there,
Yep. This is the reassembling, doing detail on the modules. This Tony, one of our workers, doing some detailing and replacing all the buildings, and
that was at the museum.
this was at this was at the on-site. Yes.
Now, Tony is one of the crew member that we have here at the CMR, and so is Marais. That came and helped, and he assembled the sleeping cars.
Yep.
So is Christian. The others were mainly laborers to help us as far as moving and trying and putting it together temporarily and so on and so on. So the diorama in itself have over 1,000 trees altogether.
And once, like here, once we got it all back together, we had to place more trees. We had to blend the beach scene in. We had to reattach all the boardwalk pieces and the buildings. That's a beautiful piece, that Grand Beach station.
Now that's the size of the boardwalk, as you can see. It was nothing small in any means. Now we're putting the boardwalk to the diorama, which had to be done very carefully.
Reassembling, yeah.
Because all those pieces in the building, they had pin underneath. So that when we came in, they already had been placed in the diorama at the studio. So when we got in there, we just line up the pin and drop it down and do the scenery all around. If you look at the water, that was realistic water that we use in there, and the effect on the sand and the effect itself of the water was just unreal.
Yep. That's the beach managers. This is one of the kiosk buildings, the dance pavilion, or the bandstand.
Now, the dance pavilion, the bandstand, the music of the carousel, that's the building of the carousel that we see now.
That's the carousel building, yeah.
And the
scratch built.
Yes, and also the marching band that we see in there in the corner. The marching band, you paint it as the color of the CN marching band of the 1920.
1925, yep.
Yeah, and that was one by one for all of them, and he scored a few of those.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, you can
all
see
of those had their own tune, their own music
yeah.
of the time. The music for the dance pavilion was the music that they were playing at the time.
At the time, yes.
And so on. So there's a lot of variation that happened in there. Now we see some shot after it being totally assembled.
Yep, there's the hotel under construction. The beachfront boardwalk.
I sure hope that the viewer have enjoyed that little video about that museum piece. When the museum reopened after COVID, we'll be doing a film on it.
Yep.
So you will see it in motion.
Go back and do a video, yep.
So you can see all the different scenes. You can look at that diorama so many different angles and always find something new.
Yep.
All the people on the diorama are period people of the 1920s. So it was very difficult to find all the peoples. They didn't make that many of them. Now we put it back to the wall.
Yep.
Now that it was assembled, because a lot of pictures you have seen now, they were from behind. And part of the crew on that crew is 4 of the people who have passed away already.
Larry Ziffel in the front.
Yes, that was the painters.
Yep.
Now there's the 3 amigos in there. The
3 musketeers.
Yeah, we work on the artistic side of it.
Yeah, we spent a lot of hours putting that together, yeah.
And then is you and I.
Yep.
With our piece. Yeah, that was a full-time job, that one.
Yes.
So
there's the finished museum piece at Grand Marais.
Hoping you did enjoy it.
Yes. Okay, very well done.
Yeah, that was nice.
I like that. Brought back a lot of memories.
No kidding. Yeah, it sure did. Yeah. And now, folks, is the time for the photo of the month.
Photo of the month. It was
Well,
very good.
as usual, it was beautiful.
Yes, and thank you to all the people that sent in submissions.
Yes.
It's nice to have them.
The one who come and visit on our Facebook page, and the one that came and visit on the website,
Yep.
and the comments that been left on both of them. One of them asked when they can come and visit, and
Okay.
tell them that it was not open to the public.
Yeah.
That's why the website and the Facebook page and so on is there. Now, after this commercial, would be the view from above.
View from above.
Ever wanted to take a nostalgic trip back to the steam era? Through the Window of a Train is the book for you. Or go back into history with the Memory of the Moonlight specials. Through the Window of a Train for $19.95, or Memory of the Moonlight specials for $21.95, or 4 limited time offers. You can get both books signed for only $39.95 plus shipping. Order now.
Well,
Well,
that was good.
Another good segment.
Yeah, I love that view from above. All of them, matter of fact.
I still want to get one of those drones.
Yeah, well, that drone is a very special drone.
Yeah.
Now we'll go visit Malachi, which is the end scale layout of Peter at his home.
That's my home layout. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got a short video on where he's at. Definitely the layout is not finished yet.
Oh no.
Yeah,
No.
it's still a little bit to go. Same thing for the CMR.
Oh yes.
So let's go visit Peter at home.
This is April 2021, and this is an update of my home's end scale layout. The layout is an L shape. It's a 7.5 foot leg by 5 foot leg with the added on yard module that we'll get to. So we're starting at the east end of the layout, looking at my mountain scene. As you can see, there's a fire watch tower which is scratch built, and the log cabin for the fire watchers to stay in. They're both scratch built. We'll travel down the mountain towards the entrance to the tunnel that goes into the mountain. At this point, my main line, two main lines converge into one through the tunnel and exit around the other side. You'll notice that I've done fall colors. That's because my late wife, her favorite season was the fall, so my layout is all done in fall colors. As we pan from the mountain towards the north side, you can see the waterfall coming down the mountain into the lake, with cottages being built and in existence at the lake. And as we just pan around, you can see now Joanne's campground, named after my late wife. And again, there's the tenting area, there's one of the bays with the camper in it, and there's a central loop with a park in the center. Just to the west of that is the compound for the lakeside resort. The fence around the compound is scratch built. The little utility shed, yard maintenance shed, is also scratch built. On the lake there's a number of boats, and some of the docks are already in place. To the north is the coal mine, which is right at the exit of the mountain tunnel. The chain link fence around that is made from 18 and 20 gauge wires soldered together with bridal veil as the chain link mesh. As we move west of the coal mine, you'll see the sawmill with the lagoon full of logs. There's a little wood bridge, single lane wood bridge, and then walls for the spillway to regulate water in the lagoon. The sawmill is serviced by a siding, and the second siding will service home hardware that you can see to the west of the sawmill. Along the back is two main lines, and they're divided by tree line. The chain link fence again is all done in 18 gauge and 20 gauge wire with bridal veil as the mesh. As we move west again, in the far back corner is one of my first scenes that I did. It's a farm scene that the fence along the front is scratch built. The grain silos are made from cardboard tubing and furnace aluminum tape. As we move to the west of that, this big open footprint will be where my downtown site will go, and that is being built off-site. Towards the front of the layout, the river flows from the lake into another river system that divides the downtown area with the kind of residential area. I'm just going to pan down here. In the very front is wood trestle. I did an earlier video on the guardrail installation, and over back this way you can see some houses just outside of the campground area. The fences are all scratch built on those buildings. As we pan back to the west, we come across the river and we can see Bob's Garage and Pizza Hut. In the back there is a couple of old oil tank cars that have been converted into storage tanks, and next to them are regular storage tanks. The red grain elevator is scratch built off the design of the grain elevator to its left, the white one, and they're both installed. All of the buildings, houses, churches, all have interior lights, and we just moved to the west here and we look at Malachi Station here, and although it's named Malachi, there is a town in Malachi, in Ontario named Malachi, but I'm not specifically modeling that. This is all from my own kind of imagination. Just in behind the general store we have the community cemetery, and then as we move west we get into some industrial buildings and storage facilities, that type of thing. We continue on west, and way in the back corner is another farm scene that I put together. Again, some scratch building there. The hydro line poles are all wired, and again, this is another fence project that I did, same as the others. This is my construction compound, and again another farm scene here at the west edge of the original layout. The next part we go into will be the yard module, which is approximately 3 feet by 30 inches, and it's accessible from either direction off the main line, and it forms an outside loop that goes all the way around, and then there's an inner loop that has all the sidings coming off it. My car shop was in another video on doing corrugated roofing using the aluminum furnace joint tape. So that is a brief update on what's happening on my home layout. Hopefully you enjoy it, and we'll see you next time when we do our next update. So happy modeling.
Well, I certainly hope everybody enjoyed that. It was
Well, you did a lot of work on that layout.
COVID work.
Yes. The COVID make us...
COVID in winter is certainly helped us with modeling.
And the way it looked like, COVID might last a little longer too.
Oh, yeah. Now we're looking at a third wave. So,
Technically, by the time it's done, we'll be near a year before all the crew being together. And for us, doing the show, it became very difficult right now because it's hard to get material.
yeah.
We don't have the chance to go and visit layout and film layouts. We're stuck in the studio.
Shows are canceled.
Yeah. So, which is big part of doing show like ours, you know. So,
But I have had my first vaccination, and you're up to bat
On Monday.
Very soon. Yep.
yeah, on Monday. So, by the time, matter of fact, this video is out, I probably will have my vaccination.
Mm-hmm.
So, folks, we got to apologize if we cannot bring you all the content that we would like to bring you, because we know what we're living into. We're living in a pandemic. We're on lockdown on the red code here in Manitoba. So we just hope that you stick with us, you know, and we'll try to bring you as much as we can, you know, as fast as we can.
And enjoy your modeling.
Oh, that's the name of the game, you know. During the time that we're living right now, model railroad being a savior for us and probably for many of you too.
Yes. It's kept our sanity, I think.
Oh yes. Even I always say, even before the pandemic, that when you retire and you have a model railroading hobby, that it was a sanity pill.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
it keep you healthy and it keep you thinking, and you keep doing a lot of things, and the imagination is carried away.
Yep.
So with all the new products that come online now to help, and more modern stuff and so on, it's only encouraging to get into the hobby, though that this hobby, if you notice, Peter, has got so many tangents.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know.
I mean, there's so many aspects of it. Someone may be into the prototypical rolling stock and locomotives. Others are into scenery.
Other is just photography.
Yeah.
Some is just collecting. Some it's electronics. Is a little bit for everybody in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's the nice part of it.
Yes, and keep sending your comments in and pictures, whatever. Let us know how you're doing.
Because the nicest part of this hobby is the sharing of it with others.
Mm-hmm.
So, on that note, folks, hope to see you on episode 17.
Yes.
And I hope you have enjoyed this show. So,
Stay safe.
stay safe, wear your mask, you know, keep the safe distancing for now. And happy modeling, and see you in the next episode.
Enjoy your modeling.